Welcome to another Panther Math Corner episode. This is Dr. Howard, and this session involves solving multi-step equations. Like the last video, solving simple equations, they involve using one property to solve equations. Here, we're solving equations that involve more than using the properties of equality. And I'll demonstrate right now. With this equation, 2 and 5 tenths x minus 13 equals to 2. So we're going to solve the equation by getting x alone and using one of the properties. Now we have a minus 13. So what we're going to do is add 13 on both sides of the equal sign. Alright, like so. This cancels because, like the addition property, alright, we're adding a positive 13 on both sides to balance the equation. The positive added cancels out with the negative 13 already present in the equation. Thus, this becomes 0, but you don't have to write 0. Just cancel it out. And then you bring down 2 and 5x. 2 and 5 tenths x equals to 15. Alright? And then the next step is to get x by itself. So we divide. And we use the division property because when you have whole numbers or decimal numbers that are not fractions, I recommend that you divide by the whole number. Now, if the x was a fraction, then I advise to multiply the denominator times itself involving fractions, and hopefully we'll do some examples later to demonstrate ways to utilize the properties of equality. So we divide 2.5. Alright, so it's not 2.5 and put x here. That's a mistake that most students make. They keep putting x involved, but you have to divide by whatever the number in front of the variable. So remember that. It's not x. It's the number in front of the variable that we want to divide in this case. 2.5 on both sides. Now notice 2.5 tenths cancel, and you have x equals to 6. Okay? And I hope you observe the steps. We've used two properties of equality. We use two of the methods of properties of equality, the addition property and the division property. And that's what it means by using multi-step, solving multi-step equations that involve more than one of the properties utilized. Okay, I'm going to erase this. I love this eraser and this board my wife bought me. Alright, so I can just erase the problem, and hopefully you'll look at the problem from the video and play it back. The next problem, negative 12 equals 9x minus 6x, and this is plus 15. Alright, one of the major problems students usually exhibit when they see x on the same side with another like term. Just conduct the proper operation. Minus 6x, 9x, minus 6x. Just conduct the proper operation. So if you have that, it'll be 3x. But regardless, you always want to try to diminish the quantities of whatever the variables that are present. So if you have like terms on the same side, just perform the operations and don't let it frighten you. You get scared. But in this case, 9x minus 6x, this will be 3x. So we have negative 12 equals to 3x plus 15. And see, each time we conduct these operations, we're minimizing the equation. The equation is getting smaller by the minute. Now, see these like terms right here, 15 and negative 12, they're integers, if you want to look at it that way. In this case, based upon solving this equation, we need to get x by itself. So the neighbor, which is 15, we have to get rid of or put it on this side so that both sides of the equation will have something, both sides to equal. So we're going to do a negative 15 on both sides. And this is addition property, excuse me. This is the subtraction property. We're using the subtraction property on both sides. Alright, and then this cancels, okay, and then you have a negative and a negative. So if you have like signs, take the sum, alright, by adding the number and bringing its sign down. So I know that these are like terms and the sign's the same, so I bring the sign down and then I take the sum. So it's a negative 27 equals to 3x. Alright, like before, we're going to divide, use the division property to divide 3 on both sides. Alright, so the 3 cancel. Notice that I use a positive 3. You use the same sign of the number when you're dividing. Alright, use the same sign. So we divide by positive 3 on both sides, and your answer is x equals to a negative 9. Alright, I hope you can see that clear. Alright, and we're going to do another one, and this one involves a bit of distribution. The distribution of certain numbers, and we could call it in the mathematical terms the distributive property. And I'll show you. 2 1 minus x times 1 minus x plus 3 equals to a negative 8. Alright, and this is what we have. In this term, this is understood to be 2 times 1 minus x. It's actually, we have a way of distributing the 2 to each term within this expression. Alright, so we do that. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 2 times a minus x, so it is a minus 2x, plus 3 equals to negative 8. Like before, we have like terms, the numbers, since they are on the same side of the equation, on the same side, because you have this left side and the right side of the equation. Since these numbers are on the same side, we can perform the regular operations. 2 plus 3, which is 5 minus 2x, equals negative 8. Alright? And then finally, we got we got these two numbers to where the equation is minimized. So it looks like the equation is getting smaller. So all we have to do is get x by itself. And we do that by subtracting negative 5. So we're going to use the subtraction property. And negative 5 on this side. Notice negative 5 here to cancel, and negative 5 here, which is the number that's on the right side of the equal sign. We always do that. Alright, so we have 2x equals to negative 13. Alright, and then we divide by negative 2 on both sides. I'm using the same sign number. Alright, okay, and then x this cancels out, so we have x equals to negative 13 over negative 2, but notice they have negative in the numerator and denominator, so they cancel. Alright, so this will equal to a positive 13 over 2. Okay, I hope you understand that. All right. And I want to do one more equation, and this involves fractions or a rational number. And this is what it looks like. D minus 8 over negative 2 equals 12. All right. So when solving equations like this that has a number in the denominator and another number in the numerator. So this is the numerator. I'll write this on this side. All right, so this is the numerator. All right. Hope you can see that. And this bottom part is the denominator. All right. So what we want to do is we want to try to make this equation look like a whole line equation with no fractions. That's what we want to do. So we look at the denominator and see what we can do to get rid of the denominator here. So if we multiply by negative 2, whatever the number that the denominator has, that's what we need to multiply with to cancel. Excuse me. So we're going to cancel by multiplying negative 2 to the rational equation, or the equation that looks like a fraction. All right, equals, we're going to multiply negative 2 also on the other side of the equation. Again, what you do on one side of the equation, you have to do it on the other. This cancels. So you have D minus 8 equals to a negative 24. All right. And like always, so we multiply using the multiplication property. All right. Because we multiply. See, we multiply whole numbers or whole integers when we have fractions. Okay. And they cancel. It works every time. Now back to the solving this. So we add 8 on both sides using the addition property. All right. Then draw the line, horizontal line. The negative 8 plus 8 cancel, so we have D equals to a negative what? 16. All right. All right. I hope you enjoyed the session today, and I hope that everything in your understanding of solving multi-step equations will be helpful in your endeavor to finish your mathematics. So you have a great day, and thank you for joining me.